She's, raise your hand here.
There she is.
I took her off the farm.
I would say, working with the two, Hunkers and Melvin, it was unique, just doing pipelining with her husband and Paul at the time. In 1979, when I worked with the two brothers, it was unique watching and working with the two brothers. And working with Melvin was different because I had to do everything the old-fashioned, the opposite way. So I'm actually backwards instead of frontwards in my history with the two farms. And I would say, thank you, Ione. The way your husband did everything over the years, I still miss him from this day.
Okay, we're moving on the line here. Mosts, they had four Mosts.
Oh,
What were your uncle's names?
Lawrence, which is Butch's dad on 394 and exchange.
He had horses, didn't he?
He had,
Yes, he
he
did.
had built cows. Yeah, he had 20-some horses at one time. Then my uncle Horrible, which was the second place on 394, out in Burville, back in 394. That's where Hanson lived for a while. Horrible, and that's Rich's dad. Then my dad was over here on Burville Road, just like the edge of town, until 2004. And then my cousin Melvin and Bobby on Elms Court, just on west of the tracks, until 81 or 82. And then he sold out and bought a farm in New London, Wisconsin, no cows till just a few years ago.
So most had a lot of dairy operations. Muirhead is another name. That's on Richton Road also by the fire station number 2, but it's a little farther west on the south side of the street. They got a couple of old brick barns there. I don't think there's any Muirheads here tonight, are there?
no, he's still in
Those are
Texas.
Texas.
Maddox, we already heard from Ray.
Yeah.
Ray, don't say too much.
Well done.
Letting the cat out of the bag for your whole next story there at your place. Nockies were another farm. That was the one I was thinking of on the corner of Nocky Road, obviously, and Old Morning Road. No farm there anymore. The next name there is Ollendorf. Those are the guys that are still milking cows. I don't know how many they've got out there. I invited them to come. There's nobody here from Ollendorf, is there?
The tree molds are Ollendorf's
Okay.
generation behind.
Okay, so you're kind of in the same generation type thing there. Okay. Piepenbrink, we talked about John O. And then there was the Piepenbrink farm where the Golo gas station is on 394 by Coles in that corner. And talking about that farm and the Muirhead farm, which is just probably a 3/4 of a mile down the road, those were Underground Railroad stops before the milking business came. And our historical society, or Crete, I should say, has been certified as a site on the Underground Railroad. I don't know if any of you saw this. We've been recognized by the National Park Service as a part of the Network of Freedom, where all the people in these couple places, and there's another location by Carol and Whalen's house out on Exchange Street here, 3 noted sites that were sites for Underground Railroad stops.
4 stops.
4 stops?
4 stops.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Edie.
Edie, okay. Okay, there's another one out east of town there. Okay. Anyhow, the sites that we have that are certified are the Marketplace Church over here right by the railroad crossing on Exchange Street and the cemetery next to it. Those 2 buildings, or that building and the cemetery, the church body at that time was a Congregational church, and they were strict abolitionists for slavery. And all these conductors on the Underground Railroad were members of that church, and they're buried right to the west of the church parking lot there. So these 2 sites are certified by the National Park Service as spots on the Underground Railroad. Phyllis and Larry McClellan, I think you 2 worked on getting the application filled out.
Well, we just wrote it, but every tree molds, you, well, there was a group of 10 that actually, and the Genslers do, Harriet and say,
Ryan,
well,
too, I think.
put it, get presented all the information, so.
Well, that was quite an achievement, and for us to be recognized as such is something we can be proud of here.
Yeah, it was a 47-page application.
Holy.
And we have to do another one because they didn't want us to, they want us to do the 2 present sites, the old Congregational church and the cemetery first. Now we have to do another one for the 4 somebody actually hid the slaves. So,
We got a lot on our plate at the Historical Society here, so please join in with the fun. We're having a great time. Prolly, that was the next name on the list. They had the dairy plant there down by Smoky Joe's. That was quite an operation there too. I think Maple Lane more served the local people with selling the products. Probably you handled more of the larger commercial and transporting milk.
Ship the milk to Chicago.
Okay, that's kind of the way, the drift I got on it there. So, another family, Reimers. Dave, you told me about that one. Is that where Waltz is at? Is that the name of the family? Reimers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, where Waltz used to be, if everybody looks at the mural on the wall.
I remember
There
that
was a
one.
farm place there, and they shipped the milk there years and years ago.
Okay. I don't remember that one. And then the last one on this is Trebolt's. They're on just on the east end of town here, just outside of town where they had the corn shocks, and you guys had dairy cattle there. And is this your grandfather's milk route book here? Oh, this is Dixie Dairy.
My grandfather.
Oh, okay. You know, when eBay first started coming out, I started looking for Crete stuff on there, as I want to do every once in a while. And what comes up there is the milk route book for Carl Trebolt. Was that his name? Here's the milk route book listed under Crete. So, wow, we can't let this thing get away. I put a bid on it. I called Carol immediately, and then your nephew.
That's him over there.
Where?
That's it.
I had to bid on
Oh.
it, you were told not to bid me up, so.
I put a bid on there, so it would maybe not get sold. But then I told her, I said, make sure that you guys know about it. So good, I'm glad you got it. Yeah, good. That was kind of exciting. I
It's a
found a lot
railroad
of
from 1936, Dixie Dairy. He delivered from the Trebold and Son Farm Dairy from '07 to, from Fred, Carol Whalen's father, delivered from '07 to 15, and then my grandfather started when he was 15 and 15 and delivered until 23. And then they sold to Dixie Dairy, and then he delivered again until 1960. So he delivered Dixie Dairy in Crete for 45 years.
Wow. Phyllis?
My dad took over after Carl stopped delivering.
That's Racy House. And he worked for Dixie and Maple Lane?
Dixie Dairy out of Chicago.
And you married her.
Maple Lane wouldn't let him in.
Oh, you're lucky you got into the house order to go see Phyllis. What's going on here?
I would do my dad's, I'd write out my dad's customers in quote, just like that when I was in seventh grade.
About that. I hear all kinds of little things of information. Yeah. Was that your grandfather that got killed by his truck, Mrs. Crowley?
Well, it would be my husband's great-grandfather.
Okay.
He was one of these big tank trucks, I don't know if you've heard of. I guess overalls years ago used to have a loop to put your hammer in.
Yeah.
And he jumped up on the truck, tell the driver something. He was only 43 years old. He had done all this rest and jumping back off the truck, pulled him under, truck ran over him and killed him. Right.
There's another company that was here in Crete that bottled pop. The brick redstone building down south of town is the gun shop now.
Oh, yeah.
That was the Dunsing Pop Factory. You're related to Dunsing too, Mr. Slumka?
They're some relation with mine, but not close.
Okay. My wife's got Dunsing and Stunkel.
Oh, yeah?
So, anyhow, the Dunsing Pop Factory guy, he got killed by his own product too. There, he was hauling milk somewhere and a bottle broke and cut him and he bled to death out on his deliveries. The Historical Society has all kinds of little interesting stories. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say anything. Not about you, Mike, don't worry. It's about the previous mayor, Ron Christopher. I was talking to Ron Jr. one time. And it used to be that when people wanted to get their hunting license, they'd have to go and buy the license from the clerk. I think Ron was the clerk at the time. So Ron Jr., he's selling hunting licenses from the house, and he was about 12 years old.
I didn't think a lot of stories with him because he took hunting license with my dad at the time.
I'm sorry?
That building across the street here of the library, right on Dixie. What was that before?
There was an implement dealer, oh, you're talking about the ice cream shop?
No, yeah, no.
The one south.
The implement dealer, yeah, Charlie Lawrence, okay.
Is that Stolzen box or something?
No,
Implement?
it wasn't, it was an implement dealer here. And
Right.
where the library is, that was his used implement lot.
Yeah, we used to run around out here, Mike, I think, right, there was 3 second hill out here for running down the hill. Took 3 seconds to get down the hill, 3 minutes to get up. Okay. I think we've covered pretty much our stuff here tonight that we're gonna go over. Has anybody got anything they like to throw out there? Bob, go ahead.
There's a lot of interesting stories, but the one I always remember, we had a blizzard in the morning of '67, and everybody was out there getting stuck, including our 12 retail trucks. But the most amazing one to me was, we got a call in from Crete Road and Wilson Road, a little north of there. And the driver said, I can get back, but I'm gonna have to leave the truck here. Which happened to 3 or 4 of the trucks. But 3 days later, we got out there to recover that truck. And amazing, and it's what your neighbors are all about here. In '67, there was a gallon bottle there, and there was no product on the truck at all, but the money was in the jug. And that's
Pretty
what,
good.
that's what Crete was about.
Well, I remember that snowstorm, we had to take milk down to Goodnow.
Yeah.
They didn't have a store down there, so that was about the last time a train stopped.
I had milk for 3 days, from Thursday morning till Sunday afternoon before I got rid of any milk.
So you had to hold the milk, you got to keep milking the
We had
cows.
to wash tubs full of everything.
Mrs. Crowley, you had
I remember that we had a truck driver brought it to the house, and it was on the radio that they could come and get milk just to get rid of it, because it was growing. I had 2 drivers sleeping in the basement. But we were glad that they put it on the radio, that they could come to our house, you know, the truck was up that far.
That's what Crete's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Mike was helping load the train, but my father sent a truckload of milk down there, to take down to Goodnow, because they couldn't get out.
There's some new babies down there too.
Yeah, and at the same time, Charlie Seehausen loaded her up with groceries.
Yeah, yeah, I got a picture. Dale Stenning's on that picture loading up. You probably are standing next to him. Okay, well, we don't have to get out of here for another 20 minutes or so. Anybody else got any stories they want to tell? Ed, you're gonna raise your hand there.
No.
Karen, go
I
ahead.
have a question. Okay, because I live right down from the, that property there. How long had that been vacant? What shape is that house in? And there was no possibility of restoring that house?
Bill Muirhead and I went in there probably 10 years ago, because he's kind of the next door neighbor, so he kind of keeps an eye on things. I went in there with Bill and his daughter, Mary, I don't know. Marilyn, okay. So we went in there and looked around there. I mean, it's nice inside there. It's an old house. I went up and I looked in the attic, because I wanted to look out that little window right up there. I got in the attic, and just to see if there's any John O'Keefe bring paperwork in there. There wasn't a thing up there. So, it's got a beautiful banister on the stairway coming down. So I think that's still there.
Be a good museum for you, too.
Well, I am crazy ideas. I was looking at a house and possibly just throwing it out there to move it, purchase it and move it from the developer. And he was willing to practically give it away as long as we destroyed the house behind it, because they were worried about,
So, I don't know if everybody could hear you, but you said that you had talked to a developer about picking it up and moving it somewhere?
possibly, if it was even feasible, or, how much it would cost. But, it's basically just sitting there, and they want to destroy it. So if there's any grants out there, people, because
It's kind of interesting, if you go in the barn, slide the door open, and in the barn, a bunch of kids carved their names on one of the walls in there. Ryan, you and I kind of moseyed in there one time, and there's a whole bunch of names of Dearson and Meyer, and 1902, they used nails and pounded holes in there to spell out their names. Kind of interesting.
About 1940-ish, and Howard Piepenbrink then did the biography of every kid who carved their name in there. It was pretty wild.
Now, I gotta give a plug to Ryan here. If you ever wanna look at some of the historic pictures of Crete, Ryan's put a website, is it a website or a
It's just on Facebook.
Facebook page
Yeah.
called Crete Township Pictures, Illinois?
Yep.
How many things have you scanned and put in there?
Right now, there's over 5,000 images on there.
5,000 images.
I got more scanning to do. I just been taking a little break from it.
Yeah. It's really interesting, because you can go and see all kinds of things. Ryan's family, you're a 7th generation Cretan?
I stretch it to 8 because Henry and Katie Adams followed their son Horace Adams here in the 1830s. So yeah, been here, family's been here forever. Cook, Adams, and
We got
Gaines's.
some old-time families here, Genslers and Schumachers. What McCoy is the family name that started way back when. And they are a site back on the Sauk Trail woods between Ashland and Western Avenue. And that could have been an Underground Railroad site too?
It is.
It is, okay. That's outside the Crete jurisdiction, but there's a number of places around like that. So some in lore and some in fact. So it's kind of fun to read and hear about those stories. Anybody else got anything? Kester, you've been around here a long time. Any stories you want to share?
No.
Kester, right? Okay. He's the guy with the steam engine there. What do you do on Memorial Day or Labor Day? You blow that weasel?
Yeah, once in a while.
Hey, Anthony? Tell that story about the weasel. Wait, no. What did you hear? Did you hear about the guy that got killed by a weasel? He was crossing the tracks and didn't hear the weasel. Some things go down from generation to generation. Okay, well, you're welcome to come up and kind of peruse the artifacts on here. I want to thank you all for, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to have all the people that are involved in anything in the dairy thing get up in front so we can take a picture of all of you. Just kind of gather up in front. Everybody that's involved in the dairies or something right around up here, and we'll take a group picture if you don't mind.
Did everybody sign in back there?
Yeah, so if you want to come up here, just if your relatives or anything, just kind of right up here. You can leave it here. You can set the chair, bring it up here. Right up here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess the only old story I have is when I was a kid, I remember the carton gallons before they went to plastic. Yeah. It was just a big version of the small ones you got. The only glass bottle I remember is Overweiss. That's what they make now. If they $7 a gallon. They compete with Walmart at $1.19 a gallon. I don't know how they do That's why everything's in
Chris? Yeah, how are you? Not bad, not
Ryan?
Huh? Did you get him? You get a picture? I'm gonna go up there with the camera and shoot everything. just wanted to get a Thanks, Aaron. Yeah.
I'll be coming in every 2 weeks. Remember that picture of my grandfather?
All the technology, we got the barrel. Have you been to barrel?
Hey, how are you, Deb? Hey, Rich.
You're Ryan, are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
stopped by a few years ago.
Yeah. I wanted to tell you, well, you're interested in some